This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, Bulgaria's National Assembly has approved the temporary deployment of U.S. military refueling aircraft and personnel. The controversial measures passed after heated debate over NATO commitments and escalating regional security concerns. President Donald Trump traveled to Dover Air Force Base to honor 4 American service members killed in recent Middle East attacks. Trump vowed Iran would pay a big price while dismissing claims of growing public opposition to the conflict. Firefighters across Sicily are battling dozens of raging wildfires fueled by extreme heat and strong winds. The fast-moving blazes have scorched hillsides, forced evacuations, and threatened communities. The remains of 2 Filipino seafarers killed in separate Black Sea attacks are expected to arrive in Manila next week. Migrant Worker Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak assured their families of continuing government assistance. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. met with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Malacanang to reaffirm the Philippines-U.S. alliance. Both leaders pledged to further strengthen maritime security cooperation amid regional challenges. And Senator Judge Bongo provided context on then-Mayor Sara Duterte's controversial punching of a court sheriff, urging the impeachment court to weigh the full context after prosecutors presented the video as evidence of an alleged pattern of violence. I'm Almar Forsuelo. Newsline World starts now. Bulgaria's National Assembly has voted to authorize the temporary deployment of U.S. military refueling aircraft and personnel, coming amid fierce debate over alliance obligations and regional security risk. Carlo de la Peña has the details.
Bulgaria's National Assembly has approved a high-stakes military deployment in support of allied Middle East operations. In a 136-13 vote, Bulgarian lawmakers authorized the United States to station up to 8 KC-135 aerial refueling aircraft and 250 military personnel at Bezmer Air Base through October 1st. Defending the measure, Prime Minister Rumen Radev emphasized that the mission fulfills long-standing NATO defense obligations, explicitly clarifying that the tankers will be used solely for logistical in-flight refueling outside of Bulgarian airspace.
Това, което правим в момента е да спазваме своите съюзни задължения, да спазваме договорите, които сме подписали. Нищо, че този договор е подписан 2006 година, ако ние не си изпълняваме задълженията с САЩ по отношение на сигурността, как ще очакваме те да изпълняват своите задължения спрямо нас?
The parliamentary approval triggered sharp pushback from opposition lawmakers, who argued that hosting logistic support for Middle East strikes exposes Bulgaria to retaliatory security threats and destabilizes the region. Critics further accused the administration of making the country an accomplice in international legal breaches. However, government leaders rejected the claims, noting that no offensive weapons platforms will be based on Bulgarian soil and that all operations fall strictly within existing bilateral defense frameworks.
Агресия в нарушение на международното право, няма санкция на ООН. България подкрепя в момента военно престъпление. Не забравяйте, че с ракети агресорът уби 170 деца, момичета в един лицей, заедно с техните преподаватели. Това е военно престъпление, за което се носи отговорност. България в момента става съучастник и в бъдещи военни престъпления.
The logistics agreement comes as Washington seeks to reinforce operational capabilities and extend the range of its aircraft across active Middle East flight corridors. With military logistics now cleared to begin at Bezmer Air Base on Friday, regional observers anticipate close monitoring from neighboring states as Western allies maintain high readiness postures. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
A U.S. federal judge has officially scheduled June 1, 2027 as a trial start date for detained Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores as supporters in Caracas gathered to demand their immediate release. Joy Tabanao has the details.
Legal proceedings against captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro move forward in a federal court in Manhattan on Wednesday. Escorted from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, appeared for the third pre-trial hearing, where U.S. District Judge Alvin Hellerstein approved a schedule setting June 1, 2027 as the trial date. Both have pleaded not guilty to charges including narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine trafficking, and weapons offenses.
Porque ese presidente es inocente de todo lo que se le acusa y no hay pruebas materiales que puedan demostrar que Nicolás Maduro es culpable de ninguno de los delitos que se le acusa. ¿Cuál es nuestra tarea? Nuestra tarea es aquí resistir en amor. Nos toca organizarnos para que el mundo vea que el pueblo venezolano quiere la paz, quiere la prosperidad, quiere relaciones con todo el mundo en el marco del respeto y de la soberanía, y que también quiere que nos devuelvan a Nicolás y a Celia.
The court hearing coincided with a large pro-government rally in Caracas, marking 200 days since Maduro and Flores were taken into U.S. custody. Led by Maduro's son, supporters declared the captured president as innocent, condemned his arrest, and called for the lifting of international sanctions. Defense lawyers said they plan to file motions in September seeking dismissal of the indictment on sovereign immunity grounds, with oral arguments scheduled for November.
Esta es la tercera convocatoria de la audiencia. Esta es una excusa para seguirlo reteniendo. Él es inocente, él lo que querían es apropiarse del petróleo, del oro, y no solo suficiente con que se lo llevan, sino también sufriendo esta catástrofe tan cruel que tenemos ahora en el país. Esto genera más miseria, más pobreza.
Maduro and Flores remain in federal custody without bail as the case moves toward trial. The proceedings are expected to involve extensive evidence and legal arguments over jurisdiction and head of state immunity, while international observers continue to closely monitor the high-profile case. This has been Joy Tabanao, your global citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
In Chile, special forces have saved 3 hikers trapped inside a remote shelter for 6 straight days. The group was cut off from the world after massive snowstorm buried the region. Verhil.
A dangerous search in Chile's mountains has ended with a miracle. Elite police officers flew through freezing conditions to pull off a daring helicopter rescue. The Carabineros Special Police Operations Group, or GOPE, executed a precision helicopter extraction near the Termas del Valle de Colina shelter to evacuate Martina Núñez, Magdalena Retamal, and Manuel Orellana. The 3 hikers had been stranded for 6 days after intense snowfall and sub-zero temperatures triggered by a powerful frontal system completely blocked mountain transit routes, forcing them to take refuge inside the Alpine facility. The high-stakes search campaign was launched following urgent missing persons report filed by relatives after the 2 women failed to return home from a trip originating in Peñalolén on July 16th, while family members raised significant concerns during the search regarding isolated communication attempts. Medical evaluation teams confirmed all 3 survivors suffered no major physical injuries during their prolonged isolation. Emergency management officials noted that severe weather conditions across south-central Chile have left at least 13 people dead and thousands displaced, as secondary response teams maintained high alert across elevated mountains corridors. This has been Verhil Parba, your global citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
U.S. President Donald Trump departed for Dover Air Force Base to honor 4 American service members killed in Middle East attacks, vowing Tehran will pay a big price while denying growing public opposition to the conflict. Angel Pastor has the update from Washington.
U.S. President Donald Trump traveled to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware on Wednesday to attend the dignified transfer of 4 American service members killed in a recent Middle East attacks. Before departing the White House, Trump rejected claims that public support for military action against Iran is weakening, saying Americans remain focused on preventing Tehran from acquiring a nuclear weapon.
Honor our heroes, and they are indeed great heroes, actually. They said, and all of them said very strongly, we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to honor them, and one of the hardest things to do, for me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president, but has to be done.
The ceremony honored 4 U.S. Army personnel, 3 killed in an Iranian missile strike on military base in Jordan, and 1 killed during a drone operation in northern Iraq. Their deaths bring the number of U.S. service members killed since the conflict escalated earlier this year to 18. The White House said Trump met privately with the families of the fallen troops before joining senior Pentagon officials for the transfer ceremony at Dover.
Well, Americans aren't against the war. A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. All I'm going to say is we love you, we love your child, and that's what they are to them. They're their children. There's no games, no nothing. That's their child. And all you can do is throw out your heart.
The ceremony comes as debate over the conflict continues in Washington, with lawmakers raising concerns over rising military costs and fuel prices while calling for a clearer long-term strategy. Despite the criticism, the administration says U.S. naval and air operations in the Persian Gulf will continue to counter ongoing threats in the region. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
Emergency services on the Italian island of Sicily are battling dozens of uncontrolled wildfires that have consumed hectares of scorched hillsides and threatened residential communities. Virgil Palba tells us more.
Southern Italy remains under threat as dozens of wildfires continue to burn across the islands of Sicily. Newly released aerial footage shows extensive damage with scorched hillsides, destroyed vehicles, damaged buildings, and vast areas covered in ash. Driven by temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius and strong Sirocco winds, more than 1,000 fires have erupted across the islands in recent days, stretching firefighters and civil protection teams. The most serious blaze struck the province of Agrigento, where flames threatened the town of Santo Stefano Cascina, forcing the precautionary evacuation of more than 100 residents. Fire crews, supported by water-bombing aircraft, worked to protect critical facilities, including an oxygen storage site and a medical clinic. Other fires near Bivona and Castronovo de Sicilia damaged olive groves and disrupted drinking water supplies in about 20 municipalities. Authorities say nearly 50 active wildfires remain difficult to contain as crews continue battling hot spots and preventing flare-ups. The emergency comes as Italy's health ministry has placed several major cities under heat alerts, with experts warning that persistent drought and extreme temperatures are increasing wildfire risk across the Mediterranean. This has been Virgil Parba, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Up next, the 2 remains of 2 Filipino seafarers killed in separate Black Sea attacks are expected to arrive in Manila next week. Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Cacdac assured their families of continuing government assistance. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. met with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Malacanang to reaffirm the Philippines-U.S. alliance. Both leaders pledged to further strengthen maritime security cooperation amid regional challenges. And Senator Judge Bongo provided context on then-Mayor Sara Duterte's controversial punching of a court sheriff, urging the impeachment court to weigh the full context after prosecutors presented the video as evidence of an alleged pattern of violence. More news when Newsline World returns.
Sa bawat panahon ng krisis, may mga tinig na patuloy na nagtatanong. Hindi para sirain ang pamahalaan, kundi para panagutin ito.
That the President's role is to defend press freedom and not lead in destroying it or demeaning its practitioners.
Mga salitang minsang nagbigay pag-asa sa malayang pamamahayag.
It is my duty for which I ask no special favor, but only fairness, which every citizen, be he the leader of the land or a tiller of the soil, deserves from the fourth estate.
Sapagkat ang media ay hindi kaaway ng gobyerno. Ito ay bantay ng bayan.
Unlike many of my predecessors, I do not seek collaboration, for that implies a surrender of your independence.
Ang tunay na malayang media, hindi sunod-sunuran, hindi tahimik, hindi takot.
I am of the opinion that national interest is better served by a press that is critical rather than a press that is cooperative.
Dahil sa isang demokrasya, ang mapanuring media ay hindi hadlang sa pamahalaan. Ito ang nagpapatibay dito.
It must have the untrammeled freedom to do its work, not just to arm the citizenry with the truth, but also to deepen discernment in this age of mass disinformation.
Sa panahon ng disinformation, mas mahalaga ang katotohanan, mas mahalaga ang malayang pamamahayag.
The principal role of the press is not to applaud those who govern, but you hold us accountable without holding back and giving praise to those who deserve it and providing criticism for those who deserve that.
Ang kritikal na media ay hindi kalaban ng gobyerno. Ito ay haligi ng demokrasya. Panindigan natin ang kalayaan sa pamamahayag. Ang katotohanan ay hindi dapat katakutan. Sa isang tunay na demokrasya, ang malayang pamamahayag ay hindi dapat pinatatahimik. Ito ay pinakikinggan. Ang kritikal na media ay hindi kalaban ng gobyerno. Ito ay haligi ng demokrasya. Panindigan natin ang kalayaan sa pamamahayag. Para sa Diyos at Pilipinas nating mahal, kasama nyo ang SMNI sa panatang ito.
The remains of the two Filipino seafarers who were killed in separate attacks in the Black Sea are expected to be repatriated to the Philippines next week. Department of Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Cacdac gave this assurance today as the agency continues to assist the affected families and process the repatriation of the remaining crew members. Angie De Leon has the story.
According to the DMW, the repatriation of 138 seafarers who were unhurt in the incidents is currently underway. Out of the 12 injured, 4 have already returned to the Philippines, while 8 others are still receiving medical treatment in healthcare facilities. The DMW clarified that none of them are in critical condition, and they are expected to fly home as soon as they are cleared to travel. The department withheld the specific location of the medical facilities where the injured seafarers are being treated for security reasons.
Basta gumaling sila, yung 4 na injured men na una na nakauwi. Basta maayos na yung kanilang medical condition, fit to travel, at naisaayos ang paperwork, makakauwi naman sila sa lalong madaling panahon.
On Wednesday, July 22nd, Secretary Cacdac visited the family of the first Filipino seafarer who died in the Black Sea attack on July 6. He is also scheduled to visit the family of the second victim who died on July 19th. The DMW assured full financial support to the bereaved families, including covering all burial and funeral expenses. The remains of both seafarers are expected to arrive in the Philippines next week.
Idinudulog nila syempre yung pag-uwi ng kanilang mahal sa buhay at sa ngayon sinasaayos na ito at nangako naman ako sa kanila na by next week at the latest time makakauwi na yung kanilang mahal sa buhay.
Meanwhile, the agency has no new information regarding the missing crew member, but Kakdak is set to visit the worker's family this Friday. The DMW also warned that ship owners and licensed manning agencies face potential suspension and penalties if they violate reportorial requirements and existing regulations, especially if they fail to respect the right of Filipino seafarers to refuse sailing into high-risk or war-like zones such as the Black Sea and the Red Sea. Among those currently under investigation are entities linked to 10 vessels that navigated through the Black Sea.
So handa naman tayong magpataw so we're investigating the manning agents and ship owners dito sa mga sitwasyon na ito, doon sa 10 barko na binabanggit ko. So handa naman tayong magpataw ng penalty kung kinakailangan.
Angie De Leon, citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte could potentially return to the Philippines if the International Criminal Court or ICC is eventually dissolved. That is the view of a geopolitical analyst following U.S. President Donald Trump's firm stance against the International Tribunal, which he claims is a threat to state sovereignty. This report. The International Criminal Court or ICC is once again in the spotlight following U.S. President Donald Trump's call to dissolve the International Tribunal. In the Philippines, the ICC's role in the case against former President Rodrigo Duterte remains controversial. For critics of the Marcos administration, the government's actions paved the way for the former president to be brought to The Hague. They argue that the rights of a Filipino and a former president to undergo the judicial process in his own country were not defended. U.S. President Donald Trump expressed a similar sentiment, which is why he wants to dissolve the ICC. According to the Trump administration, the U.S. does not fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC because although it signed the Rome Statute in the year 2000, it was never ratified by the U.S. Senate. One of the key reasons behind Washington's opposition to the ICC is its investigation into alleged war crimes in Afghanistan, including allegations against members of the U.S. military. In an interview with SMNI News, geopolitical analyst Herman Camentong Chulaurel said this is one of the main reasons Trump wants to oppose the ICC.
Kinakasuhan po nila yung ilang mga sundalo ng Estados Unidos sa mga gera ng Estados Unidos tulad sa Afghanistan. Siyempre ayaw na ayaw ng Amerikano po yun. Pero si Trump ang medyo may independence from the European leaders talaga na gawin ito na itakwil lang ni ICC todo-todo. Openly at labanan ng ICC.
Camentong emphasized that if the ICC were to be dissolved, there is a possibility that former President Rodrigo Duterte could be brought back to the country. However, he added that this still depends on the pressure applied by the United States regarding the matter.
Depende na yan dito sa pressure talaga na gagawin po ni Presidente Trump. No? Pero depende yan dahil po si Trump ay hindi na po nasa malakas na posisyon sa politika sa loob ng Estados Unidos. Wala na pong lehitimong dahilan na mapanatili si Presidente Duterte sa The Hague.
Although the United States remains a non-member of the ICC, the scope of the court's authority continues to be a subject of global debate, particularly in cases involving countries that are not members of the ICC or those that did not sign or ratify the Rome Statute. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, Almar Forzuelo, SMNA News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio met this Wednesday and agreed to further strengthen ties between the Philippines and the United States against emerging regional challenges. Joy Tabanao reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. received U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Malacanang for a courtesy call on Wednesday. U.S. official is in the country to attend the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, foreign ministers meeting and other related summits. During their meeting, the two officials discussed expanding cooperation to address the impacts of the conflict in Middle East, leveraging emerging technologies like artificial intelligence or AI, defense and security, as well as strengthening economic relations. According to Marcos, the Philippines and the United States can further broaden their long-standing partnership, particularly in promoting peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific, trade and investment, and disaster response cooperation.
Mr. Secretary, yes, we are living the curse of may you live in interesting times, and here we are, right in the middle of them. It doesn't sound like a curse, but it turns out that it is. In any case, we try to bring together ASEAN.
Rubio thanked the president for the warm welcome and congratulated him on the Philippines' successful hosting of the 2026 ASEAN Summit. He noted that the summit is important not only for the region, but also for deepening relations among nations.
And then this is a country that has deep ties to the United States for many, many years. And it's a partnership that is only growing. And in light of recent events, I think more important than ever.
This marks Rubio's first visit to the Philippines as U.S. Secretary of State. This year, the Philippines and the United States are celebrating the 80th anniversary of their diplomatic relations, which began on July 4, 1946. The United States remains the sole treaty ally of the Philippines. Defense and security cooperation between the two nations continues to rally on the Mutual Defense Treaty, or MDT, the Visiting Forces Agreement, or VFA, and the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, and other bilateral pacts. On the economic front, the United States remains the Philippines' third largest trading partner, its top export market, and its fifth largest source of imported goods in 2025. This has been Joy Banal, your global citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Liar and untrustworthy. This was the question thrown by Senator Judge Robin Padilla regarding the shifting affidavits of Arturo Las Cañas used by the prosecution in the testimony of NBI Director Melvin Matibag. Following this, Padilla appealed to the prosecution to avoid presenting witnesses who are facing cases. Angel Pastor tells us more.
Senator Judge Robin Padilla questioned lead House Prosecutor Representative Jervy Luistro regarding the conflict statements of self-confessed Davao Death Squad hitman Arturo Las Cañas. The prosecution used the affidavit of Las Cañas to support the allegation of a pattern of violence in the testimony of NBI Director Melvin Matibag regarding the alleged threats of VP Sara.
Napakahalaga po sa bawat pagdinig ay yung nagsasabi ng katotohanan. Tama po ba?
Tama po.
Opo. Pagka ang isang witness po ay naging halimbawa ng paiba-iba ang sinasabi, ano pong tawag dito?
This is a hypothetical question,
Apo.
Your Honor. You are not referring to any particular witness?
Si Las Cañas po. Yung inyo pong pinakitang affidavit, October 3, 2016, sinabi niya walang kinalaman ang Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. February 20, March 6, na iba na ang istorya. Ang tanong ko po, ano ang tawag sa taong paiba-iba ang sinasabi? Di ba po sinungaling?
Luistro did not directly answer Padilla's question. Instead, she addressed her response to the presiding officer.
Nais ko pong linawin ang kanina ko pong manifestasyon. Ito po ay ipresenta sa impeachment court bilang bahagi ng testimonya ng witness.
Hindi pa din po sinasagot.
Pwede ba nating sabihin, lead prosecutor, na ang testigong pabago-bago ang kanyang testimonya sa magkakaibang petsa o araw o panahon ay isang testigong hindi maaasahan?
Without particular reference to Arturo Las Cañas,
Sa pangkalahatan,
I agree with you, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Padilla also criticized the prosecution for presenting witnesses like NBI Regional Director Attorney Jeremy Lotok and Senior Agent John Mark Calilong who are allegedly facing active cases.
Bilang pakiusap po sa inyo, sa prosecution, pwede po ba na sana ay maiwasan natin ang pagbibigay ng witness na may kasong perjury? Hindi na po ito si Las Cañas. Ang sinasabi ko po ay yung dalawang mahal nating witness, si Attorney Jeremy Lotok at si NBI Agent Talilong, na sa mga oras na ito ay may kasong hinaharap na perjury. Pwede po bang iwasan natin na may mga ganito tayong witness para ang nasasakdal po kasi dito ay ibinoto ng 32 million na tao.
It can be recalled that on day 5 of the impeachment trial, when NBI Regional Director Jeremy Lotok took to the witness stand, Padilla brought up complaints of perjury, robbery, extortion, and theft allegedly filed against him before the ombudsman. The prosecution clarified, however, that they verified there are no pending cases against 2 prosecution witnesses. Meanwhile, Senator Judge Amy Marcos questioned the purpose of NBI's special task force while the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte is ongoing, especially since no actual assassination has occurred.
Bakit pa kailangan mag-case build-up samantalang eto na tayo sa impeachment trial, eto na tayo na wala pang actual assassination, kaya hindi naman maintindihan kung ano pa ang silbi ng special task force.
Matibag explained,
Dito sa impeachment, magkaiba po yung requirement eh. Hindi naman po natin kailangan pang ipresenta kung sino yung kinausap na assassin. Ang importante lang po rito ay yung admission mismo ng Vice Presidente na humanap siya ng mamamatay para patayin ng Presidente at iyon ay pumayag.
Forgotten my beloved Philippines, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
Senator Judge Bongo revealed he has personal knowledge regarding the 2011 incident where then Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte punched a court sheriff. The video of the incident was used as evidence against the Vice President in the ongoing impeachment trial. Daniela Paulite has the news.
I just find it proper that I shed light on the matter without any bias, given that these are matters of fact and based on personal knowledge.
Senator Judge Bongo has personal knowledge regarding the incident involving Vice President Sara Duterte and a court sheriff. The former Davao City Mayor punched Sheriff Abe Andres in July 2011 amid tensions during a house demolition in Agdao, Davao City. The video of the incident was presented during the Vice President's ongoing impeachment trial to establish the alleged pattern of violence. According to Senator Judge Go, however, it is crucial to examine the context of what took place.
Nagalit po si then Mayor Sara noon dahil nakiusap siya sa sheriff na kung pwede bang i-postpone ng ilang oras at i-delay mo ng eviction ng 217 na families. At naalala ko noon na meron pong pulisiya si former Mayor Rodrigo Duterte na ayaw niya pong magpaalis ng mga informal settlers pag walang malapitan, walang malipatan po yung mga illegal settlers. Kawawa naman po itong mga to na minadali silang paalisin. It was correct that Davao City was then dealing with the aftermath of a flash flood. At that then Mayor Sara Duterte had come from attending to affected residents before proceed. Alam niyo ba ito?
Go questioned the NBI on whether they were aware of the full context behind the incident, especially since it was cited under Article 4 or grave threats of the impeachment case.
Well, I was informed po kanina nung sinasabi yan.
Alam niyo bang 31 po yung namatay nung panahon yon?
Yun po, nalaman ko po kanina.
Actually, nandun po ako nung nangyari po yung insidente. At after 2 days, bumisita rin po yung si former Vice President Jojo Binay. Kasama niya yung anak niya na si Senator Nancy Binay. Mismo, witness po ako doon na talagang hirap ng sitwasyon. June 29 po yung nangyari na madaling araw, yung flash floods, at marami pong namatay, no, 28 to 31. At after a day, July 1, may schedule po yung sheriff na palisin yung mga informal settlers na wala pang malilipatan. Ang maalala ko lang po na nakiusap si then Mayor Sara na kung pwedeng ipagpaliban muna ng ilang oras o araw yung demolish po sa mga illegal or informal settlers na walang malilipatan.
According to a netizen named Elsa, the details mentioned by Senator Judge Go are true, adding that the Baweños know the full story. Netizen Concepa claimed there was power tripping on the part of the sheriff. Meanwhile, a netizen named Brian said most people do not know what really happened during the incident. For netizen Azrael, the vice president provided significant help to flood victims at that time, noting that as a Davao City mayor, VP Sara wanted to prevent clashes between the police and the subjects of the demolition.
Yun po ang konteksto ng nangyari. We are not justifying violence, but we are highlighting that context is important to have a fair assessment of the incident. Magkakaiba naman po yung nangyari nung 2011 sa mga pangyayaring iniimbestigahan nyo po dito. In fact, not just this incident, in our search for the truth, importante alamin natin ang dahilan at konteksto ng mga pangyayari upang maging patas, objective at makatarungan ang ating pagsusuri.
The prosecution panel invited former court Sheriff Abe Andres to testify in the impeachment trial. However, Andres declined and appealed to the prosecution not to drag him into political matters. We will continue to follow the trial's developments. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulita, SMNI News.
Quality, effective, and affordable Filipino skincare products are taking another leap into the global market as local brands prove their competitiveness abroad. Jessica Lynn Henry reports from Malaysia.
Nowadays, having a skincare routine is considered an integral part of our daily life. Beyond helping to keep the skin healthy and beautiful, it also helps in preventing certain skin issues and boosting self-confidence. And today, we are getting to know a skincare brand, one that is not only recognized in the Philippines, but is also steadily expanding here in Malaysia. To discover the secret behind its growing business and success in the international market.
Philippine beauty products continue to upgrade their standards to compete on the global stage. Among those leading that push is BeautyWise Philippines, which recently launched its distributor network and held a business meet and greet on Saturday in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, aimed at strengthening its presence across Southeast Asia.
Our expansion in Malaysia is more than just growing our business. It's about sharing BeautyWise's mission with more people. We believe that BeautyWise has no boundaries and everyone deserves access to safe, effective, and affordable skincare. This is why our tagline is Boundless Beauty for All. Perfectly represents who we are.
During the launch, potential business partners were introduced to the brand's top-selling products, business model, and networking methods designed to build strong regional partnerships. Local distributor in Malaysia expressed confidence in the brand's ability to solve skin issues. Meanwhile, the participants also shared their experiences, hopes, and optimism as they strive to face new opportunities at BeautyWise Philippines.
BeautyWise ni sangat-sangat bagus untuk repair your punya skin. Okey, daripada segi bermasalah melasma, masalah jerawat, produk spot, skin kusam. Okey, dah tak tahu dah macam-macam produk dah you all pakai, dah tak tahu dah macam mana nak repair your skin. So, kalau nak tahu jalan penyelesaiannya, okey, korang kena follow kita.
Saya cukup banggalah sebab BeautyWise dia keluarkan produk sunscreen yang jenis tube. Jadi dia memudahkan untuk customer reapply sunscreen untuk setiap hari.
According to head distributors, BeautyWise's strong track record as a top seller in the Philippines made it an easy choice to bring into the Malaysian market.
The main reason for partnering with BeautyWise is that they're the #1 seller in Malaysia for us. So we wanted to partner with them so that we can continue the sales and grow the sales in Malaysia and also throughout Southeast Asia.
The event concluded with signed partnership agreements and strategic discussions on expanding distribution nationwide. BeautyWise hope this move brings them closer to their goal of becoming a recognized Filipino household name internationally.
With a clear purpose, high-quality products, and dedication in every endeavor, nothing is impossible in achieving even greater dreams. From the Philippines to Malaysia, BeautyWise continues to uphold its mission of boundless beauty for all. For God and my beloved Philippines, this is Jessica Lynn Henry, SMNI News, Malaysia.
The Yellow River, also known as Wanghe, is one of China's most iconic rivers and is regarded as an integral part of the country's history and development. Today, various environmental protection and ecological conservation initiatives are being carried out along its course. Here are the details. Isa sa mga pangunahing pinagmulan ng kasaysayan at kabiasnan ng China, ang Yellow River o Wanghe. Bukod sa pagiging pinagmulan ng sinaunang sibilisasyong Tsino, mahalaga ang ilog sa ekonomiya, agrikultura at pangangalaga sa kalikasan ng bansa. Known as the Mother River of China, the Yellow River is the country's second longest river, stretching more than 5,400 kilometers. It originates in Qinghai province in western China and flows through 9 provinces before emptying into the Bohai Sea. Thousands of years ago, some of China's earliest settlements and dynasties emerged along its banks, earning the river its reputation as the cradle of China's civilization. The river was named the Yellow River because of the vast amount of yellow silt it carries from the Luz Plateau. While this silt has enriched the soil for agriculture, it has also caused devastating floods throughout history. For this reason, the river was once known as China's sorrow because of the widespread destruction brought about by recurring floods. However, what was once considered a dangerous river that caused widespread devastation has since been addressed through the Chinese government's flood control and river management efforts.
Ito yung nung araw, ito yung tinatawag nilang most terrified river in China kasi milyon-milyon na mga tao dito ang namamatay pag bumaba ang ganitong tag-ulan. Pero dahil na rin sa modern infrastructure program ng China for more than 1,000 years, marami silang ginawa ritong totoong mga flood control projects, mga levee, mga dam na ngayon ginagamit nitong mga dam na ito para mag-generate ng power.
Today, ecological conservation of the Yellow River remains one of China's national priorities. Government initiatives include tree planting programs, forest and wetland rehabilitation, soil erosion control, water quality improvement, and stricter management of the country's natural resources.
And somebody may ask why the Yellow River is safe. Because our government asks the people to plant trees here.
These programs aim to reduce flood risks, protect biodiversity, and ensure a sufficient supply of clean water for millions of people. The Yellow River also plays a significant role in China's agriculture and industry, serving as a major source of water for farms, households, and various sectors of the economy. Andito tayo ngayon sa Yellow River sa Langzhou, China na kung saan kahit umuulan at mataas ang level ng tubig ay dagsa pa rin yung mga turista. Hindi kagaya sa Pilipinas sa kapag umuulan ay nababahala ang ating mga kababayan. Even under unfavorable weather conditions, the area remains crowded with visitors, reflecting a vibrant tourism industry and an active local economy. This contrasts with the situation in the Philippines where heavy rainfall often prompts heightened alerts because many rivers remain vulnerable to flooding.
Hindi na. Katulad ngayon, mataas na mataas itong ilog ngayon. Makikita natin mamaya itong mismong ilog itong Yellow River, itong pinuntahan natin dito sa Lanzhou. Kasi ito yung isang syudad sa China na dinadaanan mismo sa gitna ng Lanzhou City, itong Yellow River, dumadaan dito. Pero naging tourist attraction ito. Naging tourist attraction na ito. Pinupuntahan ito ng mga dayuhang mga turista at siyempre mga lokal din na mga turista galing sa iba't ibang mga probinsya sa China. Kasi ang lawak naman ng China at daming tao rito. Yung mga ibang mga taga-ibang probinsya, hindi pa nila nakikita kung ano itong Yellow River, gaano ba kabagsik itong river na ito pag ganitong tag-ulan. Andi dito sila ngayon, makikita ninyo itong mga nagpupuntahan dito. Naging tourist attraction na itong paglubo o paglaki ng ilog nitong Yellow River dahil panahon po ng tag-ulan sa ngayon.
Although flooding still occurs in some parts of China, it is evident that the government continues to implement measures aimed to addressing these challenges.
O nakakainggit talaga, alam nyo yung Guangzhou is actually one of the poorest provinces in China, but look, ang standard nila mataas na sa atin. Mas maganda pa nga ito ata kaysa sa Cebu if you really look at the whole city ng Lanzhou. At the same time, tama yung sinasabi mo, umuulan na at saka tawag nito, mataas ang level ng tubig sa Yellow River, but in any case, still makikita mo maraming tourists, local tourists and even international tourists kasi nga wala kang makikitang flooding even though ang river nila ay umaapaw na. It's precisely because I think the infrastructure is very good. So nakakaingit siya in a way kasi we want the Philippines and our cities to be like this. Imagine, this is already not the wealthiest city thus far. But if you really look at the infrastructure, look at the city, look at the economic development nila, ay malayo tayo. So doon ako naiinggit kasi for me, I want the Philippines to have something like this or better than this.
Nandito kami sa Lanzhou ngayon, no? Tapos nakita namin yung Yellow River. Actually, sa umpisa, kung titingnan mo, parang ang dami-dami namin ganito sa Pilipinas. And we learn about the history na dahil sa lakas ng agos niya, basically, ang dami mga taong nadadamay, namamatay before until China actually addressed that. Na-realize ko, number one, wala pala dito yung parang flood control na scandal kasi talagang inayos nila for hundreds of years already. And kung makita mo, yung development na it's really possible, no? Dito natin makikita sa China. We were told na itong lugar na to is the fourth poorest within the zone. Pero kung titingnan mo, parang ang layo-layo even ng mga capital natin sa Pilipinas na malalaking mga syudad, malalaking mga cities were too far from it in terms of yung economic activities na meron sila dito. And they've also been attracting a lot of tourists here. So kanina, medyo busy yung lugar. Sobrang tanda na nung bridge, nakatayo pa rin yung bridge, tapos ang dami-dami mga turista. So I think yun talaga yung our exposure here. Ito yung isang kumbaga unang insight namin dito that it's possible when the government does something solid para talaga sa mga tao at para sa kabutihan ng lahat at hindi siya pang personal.
In the end, some Filipinos who visited Lanzhou believe that the Philippines also has the potential to progress provided the nation remains united and its resources are properly managed and utilized.
So pwede natin gayahin ito na magiging tourist attraction yung mga river system natin kung magiging maayos ang mga infrastrukturang gagawin ng ating pamahalaan.
I think ang nakita natin dito sa China based on history also is yung mga problema na meron tayo sa Pilipinas, matagal na nilang silulusyonan. Noon pa, hindi siya pinapabayaan. So for example, yung pagbaha, maraming taong namamatay, maraming taong nalulunod, nawawasak na mga properties. It also happened to them. But that is already part of their history kasi ngayon may solution na nga sila eh. So, yun, I think very crucial yung ginagawa talaga ng gobyerno about it na pag may problema, sinusolusyonan. And I think one biggest factor is that takot yung mga public servants dito. Yung mga politicians nila, hindi siya madaling kumbaga tumaas dahil sikat ka lang or may pera ka lang. Kasi dito yung mga politicians nila are actually assigned.
Kung namamanage ng maayos ang pondo at alam kung saan nilalaan dapat ang pera at walang massive corruption in government. So yun siguro ang pinaka-importante. Pero that is a problem that we're facing in the Philippines at the moment. So doon ako naiinggit din. Kasi dito, ang gobyerno nila, zero tolerance when you talk about corruption.
By balancing economic development with environmental protection, China aims to preserve the health of the Yellow River and safeguard its more than 5,000 years of cultural and historical heritage. Some Filipinos who visited Lanzhou also expressed disappointment of the current situation in the Philippines. Bagamat magkaiba ang kasaysayan at lawak ng Yellow River at ng mga ilog sa Pilipinas, iisa lang ipinapakita ng mga ito. Ang mga ilog ay nananatiling mahalagang pinagkukunan ng tubig, kabuhayan at likas na yaman. Dahil dito, mahalaga ang pangangalaga sa mga watersheds at ecosystem para mapakikinabangan pa ang mga ito ng mga susunod na henerasyon. Beyond its breathtaking landscape, the vast Sunan grassland in northwestern China serves as a vital ecological area that helps prevent desertification and preserve environmental balance. Here's my report from Sunan. Sa unang tingin ay tila isang payapang tanawin lamang ang Sunan grassland dito sa China. Pero ayon sa mga lokal na otoridad, mahalaga ang papel ng malawak na damuhang ito sa pangangalaga ng kapaligiran at sa kabuhayan ng mga komunidad na nakatira rito. Nestled within the Sunan-Uyghur Autonomous County in Gansu Province, the Sunan grassland is known for its vast green grasslands surrounding mountain ranges and the traditional way of life of communities that depend on livestock herding. Aside from being a popular tourist destination, the grassland also serves as a natural barrier against soil erosion and the expansion of deserts. It also plays a vital role in preserving biodiversity and regulating the region's climate. According to local officials, conservation efforts continue through sustainable grazing practices, ecological restoration, and the active participation of local communities. Upon arriving in the area, visitors are welcomed by the small Uyghur community. The Uyghur are one of the more than 50 official recognized ethnic groups in China. Their population is relatively small. According to local residents, there are only around 10,000 members of the Uyghur ethnic minority. Their small population has also contributed to preserving the area's natural beauty.
There are a few population of Uyghur people in Sunan, only 10,000 people of Uyghur minority groups.
Descendants of ancient nomadic tribes, the Uyghur have lived at the foot of the Kilian Mountains for centuries. Their primary livelihoods include raising horses, sheep, and yaks, herding livestock, and producing traditional clothing and handicrafts. Their way of life demonstrates that it is possible to protect the environment while sustaining the livelihoods of local communities. It also serves as a valuable example for the Philippines, particularly in protecting grasslands, mountain ecosystems, and other protected areas through the responsible use of natural resources and the active participation of local communities. Habang nakikita natin sa likuran ko ang malawak na kapatagan ng Sunan grassland, ipinapakita lamang nito na posibleng magkasabay ang pag-unlad ng turismo at pangangalaga sa kalikasan sa pamamagitan ng responsableng pamamahala na papanatili ang kalikasan para sa mga susunod na henerasyon. One of the most distinctive features of the Uyghur people is their colorful traditional clothing. Their songs and dances have also been passed down from one generation to the next. The Uyghur have two traditional languages. However, over time, many of them have also adopted Mandarin Chinese in their daily lives.
但是呢，我们有非常独特的，就是裕固族，它是有两种语族的语言，一种是阿尔泰语蒙古语族，一种是阿尔泰语土着语族。我们现在穿的这个服装有平顶的，有尖顶的。那么平顶
For the Uyghur people, the grassland is more than just a source of livelihood. It is also an essential part of their culture and identity. Their story highlights the importance of protecting the environment while preserving the culture and heritage of indigenous communities. This also offers an important lesson for the Philippines, where many indigenous peoples likewise depends on forests, mountains, and other natural resources as part of their livelihood and cultural identity. Sa gitna ng malawak na tanawin, ipinapakita ng Sunan grassland na ang tunay na halaga ng isang lugar ay hindi lamang nasusukat sa ganda nito, kundi ang kakayahang mapanatili ang balanse ng kapaligiran at suportahan ang mga komunidad. Mula dito sa Kangle, Sunan Grassland, China, para sa Diyos sa Pilipinas kung mahal, Almar Forzuelo, SMNI News. The release of Christopher Nolan's highly anticipated film adaptation of The Odyssey has prompted lively debate in Athens, where Homer's foundational epic remains as a cornerstone of national identity. Andrea Santos has the story.
Homer's ancient epic poem has returned to the big screen, reigniting a classic conversation over cultural interpretation and artistic license. The international premiere of Christopher Nolan's blockbuster The Odyssey brought crowds of cinema goers to theaters across Athens, where Greek audiences evaluated Hollywood's take on their foundational hero's journey. While many viewers welcomed the sheer cinematic scale and modern storytelling, others questioned the specific casting choices, including stars Zendaya and Tom Holland, and minor narrative departures from the original Bronze Age text.
Σκέφτομαι, ξέρω εγώ, αντί να βλέπω την Αθηνά, βλέπω τη Ζεντάγια, ξέρω εγώ, ή τον Τόμ Χόλαντ ως τον τηλεό. Και λέω, ο Spider-Man ή το οποίο δεν μου άρεσε πολύ. Αλλά πολύ ενδιαφέρουσα ερμηνεία των πολλών πραγμάτων. Δεν έχω πρόβλημα με το... με τις αλλαγές, δηλαδή οι αλλαγές ήταν στοχευμένες και αυτά που κράτησε ήταν και αυτά στοχευμένα και πολλές λεπτομέρειες που είναι ενδιαφέρουσες για το έργο.
Despite the localized debate over Hollywood star power, local audiences and cultural leaders emphasized that Homer's legacy transcends national borders. Running alongside the theatrical release, a parallel art exhibition in Athens brought together Greek and American artists to showcase visual responses inspired by both Nolan's cinematic vision and the original ancient verse. Cultural organizers noted that while international creators often view the tale through a stylized blockbuster lens, the underlying themes of home, endurance, and human struggle remain universally shared.
Ο Όμηρος ανήκει, αυτό είναι κάτι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό, είναι η παγκόσμια πολιτιστική κληρονομιά. Ο Όμηρος τώρα. Και αν το καταλάβουμε και το μοιραστούμε με όλους, εμείς θα είμαστε κερδισμένοι. Είναι και δικό μας, αλλά ανήκει πλέον στην παγκόσμια πολιτιστική κληρονομιά και εμείς είμαστε μέρος αυτού του συνόλου.
Written nearly 2,700 years ago, the journey of Odysseus remains one of the most enduring narratives in world literature as Nolan's adaptation continues in global rollout across IMAX screens. Local art directors say the dialogue between ancient heritage and modern cinema only proves the timeless power of the original myth. This has been Andrea Santos, citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest show buzz.
In latest sports updates, Arina Sabalenka and Jannik Sinner will headline the field for the 2026 US Open as the world's top players prepare for the season's final Grand Slam. Meanwhile, Tyson Fury has raised fresh doubts about a long-awaited showdown with Anthony Joshua, despite both camps having signed contracts. Carlo de la Peña for more details.
Two-time defending champion Arina Sabalenka and reigning Wimbledon men's champion Jannik Sinner headlined the official entry list for the 2026 US Open, which begins next month in New York. Sabalenka aims to become the first woman since Serena Williams from 2012 to 2014 to win 3 consecutive US Open titles, while world number 1 Sinner looks to reclaim the crown after finishing runner-up to Carlos Alcaraz in last year's final. The United States leads all nations with 14 men and 14 women earning direct entry, while the remaining spots in the 128-player draw will be filled through qualifying tournaments and wildcard selections. Meanwhile, Tyson Fury questioned whether his blockbuster fight with fellow Briton Anthony Joshua will happen later this year, saying he's prepared to face somebody else if the bout does not materialize. The comments came ahead of Fury's bout against Marius Wacht in Thailand on Friday, while Joshua returns to the ring against Christian Prenga in Saudi Arabia on Saturday. Joshua responded to Fury's remarks by calling him Mr. Greedy Belly and vowed to uphold his end of the agreement by defeating Prenga before any potential clash between the two heavyweight stars. Although both camps have signed contracts, uncertainty continues to surround one of boxing's most anticipated heavyweight matchups as Fury and Joshua focus on their respective fights this week. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Strengthen your freedom of choice to follow His will, and then you will have spiritual liberty. That's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Almar Forzuelo. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.